Hey everybody, it's Haley. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a process video for day one of When God Asks a Question, a devotional study from By the Well for God. I've got my supplies laid out and I'm ready to go. So I'm going to put you on fast forward and let's get started. I did some prep work this time before I turned on the camera. So I've got my notes there on the right. I'm using another piece of copy paper to do a tip in. So I've traced around a page in my Bible. That's what that pencil line is. And now I'm just using a makeup brush from the Dollar Tree to create an ombre with Distress Oxides. That's Tattered Rose. This is Worn Lipstick. And the third color is going to be Dusty Concord. Something else I did before I turned the camera on was take a manila shipping tag and roughly paint it with Liquitex Basic Titanium White acrylic paint. It's not a perfect job, and I didn't want it to be. I wanted it to be bumpy and still see some of that tan coming through. And I used my die cut machine and one of the patterned papers that you could purchase along with the kit to die cut the title, Why Does God Ask? So here I've got my ombre done, and now I'm going to do tone on tone ink smushing. So I'm taking the same shade of Distress Oxide, smashing it down onto clear plastic packaging, spraying it with my Tim Holtz Distress Sprayer, and smushing it on its corresponding layer within the ombre. And with the Dusty Concord, I decided to take it all the way up the page. I feel like that just kind of, I don't know, made it look more like it all belonged together. Not like three separate things side by side, but one and apparently I punched my desk, forgive me. Got impatient with my heat tool, so I just used a paper towel. And here I'm going to grab the same colors in Distress Inks. I'm pretty new to Distress Oxides, and I wanted to do some tone-on-tone splatters as well. And I didn't know if the oxides would splatter in the oxidized, kind of cloudy look, or if they would splatter in like their pure pigment. So I went with the Distress ink until I have more time to play with the oxides to see how they interact with water more. My friend Julie, I'll link her YouTube channel down below. She does some really cool backgrounds with Distress Oxides. I even have a note on the corner of my desk. She blends and then she sprays with water and lifts up with a paper towel. And then she splatters with her paintbrush, and then she does the smushing technique. Or maybe she smushes and then splatters. I don't know. But she does some really cool stuff with oxides. Here I'm taking the stencil that you were able to purchase with the kit to decorate my tag with. I'm going to use some Ranger texture paste and Dusty Concord. Again, I didn't know how the oxide would work with that liquid medium, and I wanted that Dusty Concord color. So I just stuck with what I knew until I have time to play with them more. And then I just use a palette knife to push them through. A little bit goes a long way with this stuff. And once it's colored, obviously you can't put it back in the tub. So you get the hang of estimating how much you need. Now here I'm going to move my stencil, and I'm rolling the washi tape back up on itself so that I don't have those tails drag through the texture paste that's currently drying while I move it over, because the tag is wider than the stencil. So I'm going to try and line that all back up and carry on with my beloved texture paste. So I'm kind of doing, it's almost like sermon notes. I'm just basically copying down what's in the devotional kit. I find that when I write things out, I remember them better, and these are things I want to remember. Texture paste is a beast to clean up if you let it dry. So I included this so you could see that you need to clean it right away. I used a baby wipe, and then a paper towel, and then a spray bottle with water, because I love that stencil and I don't ever want it to become compromised by dried up texture paste. Anyway, so I was in Bible college for 5 years, and one of my professors once told us in class, when you read the word therefore in scripture, you need to pause and ask yourself, what's it there for? And I feel like this, when God asks a question, is going to become one of those pausing things for me. Like when I'm reading the Bible from now on, I really feel like I'm going to stop and say, okay, why is God asking this question? Is it for a purpose of revelation where he's going to teach us something about his character or his attributes? Is he trying to teach a spiritual lesson? Sometimes we see Jesus in the New Testament even using what could be read as sarcasm or rhetorical questions. Is he asking this to call me to action in my faith? Or is he asking this to bring about inward perspective or an insight to myself? So I'm really excited for this kind of, it's not a mnemonic device. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm excited to have another one of those things that stops and makes me think while I'm reading. Because it's good to use your brain while you read. So while I was talking about that, I just used a Micron pen to outline my alphabet die cut title so it would stand out a little bit better. Now I'm putting it under a traveler's notebook in my Harry Potter book to make sure everything sticks down flat and well. And now there's 2 question mark stamps in the set that came with the kit. I wanted to use the bigger one, but I can't find my big stamp blocks. I recently rearranged my crafting space and I can't find them to save my life, so I'm going to tone on tone stamp with this tiny guy 467,000 times. Again, Tattered Rose, Worn Lipstick, and Dusty Concord in the Distress Oxides. But I love this effect. It's a fair amount of work. It's hard to make it look random when they're so small, and there's only so many ways you can put 2 question marks next to each other. And quite a bit of it gets covered up by the tag and the stamping, but I'm finding that I really enjoy making backgrounds, even if they get covered up by things. So after this, I'm just going to find out where I want my tag, and then I'm going to use an alphabet stamp from Illustrated Faith. I think it's called the Quinny Alpha. Again, everything that I use will be linked down below, to stamp out the 4, I don't know what they would be, titles, like revelation, spiritual lesson, call to action, or insight. The 4 reasons why God would ask a question. And then I'll put my journaling in. But I'm having a great time with this kit already. I've read days 1 through 3, and I've got notes everywhere. And it's a really cool way to study scripture, because often, like a lot of times, you'll study a person or a book, or you'll do like a word study, and all of those things are wonderful. But just the idea of studying the intention behind why something is communicated the way it is kind of new to me. And so I'm really enjoying the process of being taught how to do that and like why it matters. One thing that surprised me with this stamp set, back to what's going on the screen, it's going to sound silly. It's bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like, I'm typing the word revelation, and I thought that I would be done about here where the T is. I thought all the letters would fit, and nope, still needed 3 more. And so I was like, oh, this is a wider font than I was expecting. I have really bad spatial awareness. And so that's why I have to keep moving my tag. I'm like, oh, this will fit. It won't fit, Haley. It's not going to fit. But I did have a bit of a hard time stamping on top of the oxides, and I don't know if it's because I didn't let it dry enough. Maybe it's because there is gesso under it, but we'll see. And here I'm trying to see if I can fit spiritual lesson in one line. And so I didn't want to try and visually guess because I would have been wrong for sure. So I just stamped it out in my devotional book and then held that up to the area that I had left to see that it definitely would not fit. I'm glad though that it didn't, because you'll see in a minute, call to action is stacked on top of each other, and I like that there's one title above the tag that's one line and one that's 2 lines, and then on the bottom one that will be 2 lines and then one that'll be 1 line. I think that was a happy accident. So here I'm just trying to figure out a way to mask off where the tag is going to be so I don't stamp words under the tag, because that's totally something that I would do. It's something I have done. And here I'm going to start again from the outside and work in to make sure I don't stamp off of the page. So as of filming this and recording the voiceover, this kit has sold out for the 2nd time in a week. People are starting to really understand and appreciate how incredible these kits are, and they are going like hotcakes. So I would like to tell you to set an alarm on your phone for the day that they release to order them as soon as you can, but then it's possible that I might not get it, so maybe don't listen to that. No, yeah, they're great, and they put a preview card in for the next kit, and it's going to be about prophecies that Jesus fulfills, and I am thrilled. It is something I've always wanted to study, and I've never made the time. I've never invested the time in doing the legwork for myself because I'm pretty lazy, which is ridiculous. But I'm really excited to learn about that from the next kit. And the aesthetic of it looks cool too. So here I'm just writing down my notes. And then my phone stops recording. Hello again. I apologize. I ran out of storage space on my phone, so it quit filming as soon as I got done with my journaling. Fortunately, I had gotten all of the creative process done, so all you missed was the gripping and suspenseful gluing down of the tag, stamping of the date, and then I cut out the tip-in and glued it to the back of this page. I've been doing a lot of the tip-ins lately, and I'm loving them because I use so many die cuts and textural elements in my Bible that it's hard to create directly onto the surface without having strange pools of ink or watercolor because of the chunk on the back and behind it. So I'm probably going to be doing that for many of my videos to come. But that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button, and if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys again soon. Take care. God bless.